Welcome to Dungeons and Disables, episode 2 of our first adventure, Escape from Revel's End. I am your DM, Steve Saylor, and this is a show where a bunch of nerdy disabled players sit around and play Dungeons and Dragons. I realize I didn't say that at the beginning of the first episode before, but I think you kind of maybe get the picture, but I'm going to have to remember to say that. But I also have my disabled adventurers with me. I have Morgan Baker, Mike the Quad, Grant Stoner. Hello, it's Colo, and Siam. Hello, how are y'all?
Fantastic.
Excited.
Ready to live.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I am not hoping for a TPK, but you know, I am also not opposed to the idea. I just hope it doesn't come to that. But for those of you who not know, TPK stands for Total Party Kill. We're not going to try to kill everybody in our first adventure because that would be sad. All right.
Oh, I thought it was the pretty kids.
I wish. That'd be great. All right.
Kids.
So we're going to dive back in. As the wind starts to kind of blow outside, another brisk breeze of cold air envelops the room that you're in. You start to kind of like in your adrenaline sort of kicking in state. The folks are like, you're trying to figure out where things are, where you are. You're trying to find some sort of familiarity in the room with you, and no one is kind of giving you any hints, or there's no information around you. But I want to see if anyone can be able to pick out anything, and I want everyone to roll me a perception check for me, please.
17 for me.
It's a 12 for me.
Okay.
A 7. Oh, sorry.
No, that's okay. So 22, a 7, a 12, and a 17. Okay.
11.
An 11. Okay. Good. So you finally, I think everyone except Odeon or Grant basically notices, like, okay, you start to kind of like look around the room, and as you definitely see other folks kind of like startled and not sure, like they got a look of confusion on their faces. But you do see like, for those, like you definitely do see two folks in wheelchairs, like kind of pushed to the corner of the room, and you're kind of like at the same table, and Odeon, that's the first thing that you notice is someone is sitting beside you in a wheelchair as well, and you kind of like, I'll say that at this point you all kind of clock each other, and you notice that you're all kind of wearing similar clothing to each other. And I will say, like, as you look down at your tunic, you can see like patched in, like there's a number patched in, and so Odeon, you see your number is 296. Inga, your number is 297. Rot, your number is 298. Yazir is 299, and Morica is 300 on your like etched into your tunic. So what do you do?
We're no longer wearing the same clothes.
You're all wearing the same clothes. Like you're like this. You realize this is now like you've been knocked out, and you last memory you had, like you just was the last memory you had, and suddenly you woke up in this place.
And it's but it's not the clothing that I was wearing.
Correct.
Before I got knocked out. Right.
Correct.
What can you tell us like what it looks like? Like, does it cover full arms,
Yes.
full legs? Does it how?
So so you are wearing basically a pair of trousers, just some like makeshift trousers. Not really like it's pretty bare bones. Like it's kind of a little bit dirty, and some have like a patches kind of sewn into them. And then you are wearing like a tunic underneath like a gray shawl, kind of almost like a poncho. It's kind of like and also like basically like there's no hood to it. It's like a hoodless kind of like poncho. And you see like it's kind of gray, and it's a little bit tattered. It's got a little bit of thickness to it, to kind of that you realize is kind of sort of trying to battle the cold as you're in this sort of like very cold, like barely lit like stone room, and yeah, there's like it's kind of tattered in a little bit of places, but it's kind of a little bit itchy to the touch if it's touching your skin, and yeah, the only thing that's on each of these shawls is just a white sewn in patch with like a hastily kind of drawn number on each of them.
Can I cast detect magic, please?
Yes, you may.
I pressed cast. But do I need to roll a dice as well to see anything? Or no? Does it just...
I will say that you can only you kind of get a feeling as you cast it, like as you sort of like your senses kind of become like widened, and you kind of realize you're like everything is heightened. You can feel like you can feel the coldness of your chair as you're sitting in it, and you can kind of feel like the sort of the dry cold air in your skin. You can kind of like see everything kind of becomes a little bit brighter, and your scent and your smell. You can smell like the smell of kind of cooked food, of potatoes and mushrooms and carrots, and like of people eating that in the room. And you also can hear like different kind of like noises of stone and chains and kind of metal kind of scraping across the room. But as far as magic is concerned, normally you can kind of like tell that there's like a kind of like this sort of sound of kind of like a glowing something. Normally that's whenever you detect magic, that's you can kind of that anything that kind of has magic to it, you kind of like hear like a little bit of a glow, but that hearing is also kind of internal. You can kind of sense that and feel that, and you can also see that. But as far as anything in the room, the only thing that is magically lit is the fireplace. That's it. That's all you can see.
Okay, so I think the way that I cast it is I move my hand forwards and hold it. So it's very like it's a very subtle cast. And as I kind of come out of realizing, okay, there's no magic here, I look around me and who would be closest to me?
For you, it actually would be Odion, because he's the other wheelchair user that's just just sitting. Like it seems as if like you were just kind of just parked at a table.
And where is the fire in proximity to where the two of us are?
You're kind of in the back. Like if you think about it, so the door is think of the door to the room is north. You're kind of in the back, sort of the back left, like south of the room, and the fireplace would be to your east, so to your right. Okay,
but we're not like right next to it, or.
No.
Okay, cool.
It's a little bit like you're not right next to it. Like cool. You can feel like there's like you can see the light. Kind of that's what's lighting the room. You can feel a little bit of heat coming from it, but not so much. Like the closer you get, you can be able to get a little bit of heat from it.
I think I turn to the person next to me who's also in a wheelchair, and I want to like look them up and down.
Should I just start my character now?
Yes, you didn't get a chance to do that before. So yeah, Grant, why don't you tell Kola what does she see?
You see a tiefling who's roughly 5'10" in height. He has orange skin, red hair with purple streaks running through it. His left eye is green, his right eye is orange, and he has a mage hand always by his side. He can't really use his arms. And the mage hand just starts raving to you.
I like watch the mage hand and like look back to his face and then look back to the mage hand. And then I would like to use my own mage hand to reach out and high five it.
Yeah, you can totally do that. Grant, do you return the high five?
I do, and I give a thumbs up with my mage hand.
And like
love that.
And you see me like you physically see me breathe a sigh of like my whole body is like, oh, okay, all right, okay, this is not. And then I'm gonna summon my mage hand back and look around to who would next be closest.
So actually, I'll say that that as the rest of you are kind of like looking around the room, you both see like two magically like kind of translucent hands. Actually, I'll ask you like both. What color is your mage hand?
Mine is the pale green as my skin, but slightly shimmery.
Okay. Yeah.
Like, I don't like it being shimmery. If it was not shimmery, I'd love to be able to turn that off. Like, I'm not a glitter girl, but like, that's just the way it is. Can't change it. Done my best. It's gonna be glittery.
Yeah. And Odion, what color is your mage hand?
It's a shimmering yellow.
Okay.
Like gold, because every time I perform, my mage hand is the thing that holds my instruments. So I want the audience to be able to see it when I'm on stage.
Okay.
So it's
Perfect.
a very like obvious presence whenever it's summoned.
Okay, so yeah, the rest of you, like, you kind of look over to the back corner of the room, and you see a shimmering gold yellow mage hand, like it's kind of like translucent a little bit. So you can kind of see it a little bit through, but you see like it kind of the outline of a hand, and then you see this sort of kind of subdued, but it's still kind of like translucent green hand of the same size, and you see them both like give like a high five to each other, just in the back that's there. So what did the rest of you do as you see this happening? Let's start with Morgan. What do you do? You see this happening. What do you do?
Utterly confused, exhausted, and just the sight of this interaction makes me question why I'm existing right now. What is even happening? My brain is so foggy. I'm exhausted. I've just fallen out of a tray, and I am so mad at myself. I was at my peak.
Mm-hmm.
Nat 20, and now I'm just exhausted. So just seeing this interaction, I just decide. I just roll over. I can't do it anymore. I'm just gonna take a nap. Too bad I can't.
Okay, you kind of hear a little like a voice in your head, a voice that's that's very very familiar to you, and be like, hey boss, I think we're kind of in a little bit in trouble here. And you recognize that voice. That is Kibler.
Is Kibler here? I reached for it and checked. Do I still have my locket?
You still have your locket. It is still it's still hanging around your neck. And even though you can't see Kibler, like that he's kind of always there and has like a very like telepathic connection to you. And he says, "Yeah, boss, where the heck are we?"
Kibler, I have no idea where we are. Are you here right now with me? Should I summon you?
I don't like that guy in the corner. The big orc dude. I think I'm just gonna chill for a minute. But hey, whenever you need me, boss, I'm here. I'm here.
Good, Kibler. Stay on the lookout, especially to let me know if you sense any mushrooms nearby. I don't want to mess with those today.
No problem, Bob. And he kind of like you kind of feel like he kind of gives like a little bit of a sort of like semi salute with his paw, and yeah.
So cute.
I love it. Yeah. So, Mike, what does Ysir do?
I'm trying to figure out where am I at in this room?
You're kind of in the center, kind of sitting like you're sitting at a table that has like two dudes with basically the same kind of cloak as you do, but they're kind of just eating their meal. Like they literally do I don't even need to have you roll an insight check. You just know they do not want to be disturbed. Like they are kind of, but you're just kind of just chilling on the other side of the table, and like the fireplace is kind of like right in front of you. But you do see kind of like again. Like in the corner, like two like little mage hands, kind of like giving a high five to each other.
So I'm just over here, just trying to analyze everything and take everything in, and just trying to just recall what kind of knowledge that I've had that possibly would be familiar here. Would I be able to like recall any type of knowledge that would be familiar of something of this, quote unquote unfamiliar place?
Why don't you roll a you kind of look around the room and you see above the fireplace a crest above it, and it's got like sort of two sort of chains kind of like cross in the middle, and you see a tower in the center of it. And I want you to roll a let me see, let me decide, either a history or that'd probably be best. A history check for me.
All right, here we go. Ooh, 18.
18. Okay. You recognize the symbol. This is the crest for something like a like literally a place that you've heard of that has a legend to it, but I can't believe that you're actually seeing this in person. This is the crest for the prison known as Revel's End. And it's a tower prison, and it's south of it's north of where your monastery was, but it is deep in the mountains. And it's and you're like, how, like, you are not anywhere. You realize you are, if this symbol is like Revel's End, and you're like you're far away from home.
Okay. Is Inga and Odian the only people that are communicating with each other?
At the moment, yes.
Okay.
That you can see.
I wanted to get up from my seat, and possibly approach them.
Yeah, you can totally do that.
Just to say hi. I see you all are communicating with each other, and nobody else, at my table, wants to be talked to. But we're in this weird place, and I don't know if anybody else knows anybody. But just want to introduce myself. My name is Yazir, and I'm a monk. And it's down here, I know your folks are really tall, but
actually, for you, because they're sitting, you're kind of at like perfect eye level.
Oh, nice,
being
nice.
a halfling. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. My neck was kind of always having to talk to people who are
your neck is always
immensely
kind of
taller
sore
than
just
me.
from having to be able to look up. To talk to people. Yeah.
So just wanted to introduce myself and say hi. How you doing?
All right, Odion and Inga, what do you do? It was weird, like halfling kind of coming up to you and introduce himself.
I'm still trying to figure out where I am, but can I recognize the crest?
You know what? I want you to roll. Actually, I want. As you kind of still looking around the room, I'll let everyone. Why don't you everyone roll a history check for me? It's not
Just am awful. 5.
That's a
5.
19 from me.
19. Okay.
18.
Okay. And
13.
Sam. 13. Okay. So everyone but Grant. You've heard of this. You may not know that you just about the specifically the location, but this is Revel's End, and Revel's End's a prison.
This wouldn't be the worst place I've played a game, but also not a villain. At least I usually have my own room.
Yeah, Odion, you just this is a very cold, dark this is the weirdest tavern you've ever seen, and you're kind of not sure how the heck you even got here. There's no stage. There's you can't see your instruments or anything around you whatsoever. What gives?
My mage hand starts stroking my chin as I'm thinking. And then I see the halfling, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Oh, hi. I'm assuming you're not the one who hired me. So every time I speak to you, my mage hand does, it points to him, it points to me. But it's very animated, so every time I talk, the hand is also, constantly moving. It's conversations.
You're a mage hand talker. I get it.
Yeah,
that's
I'm a
fine.
mage hand. I'm a talent. What can you do?
Yeah.
So I'm assuming you're not the one who hired me.
No, I am. I'm definitely not. I'm just here, just trying to figure out what's going on, and we all have these weird, clothes on, and each of us have numbers on, and so I'm just trying to figure out, what this whole situation is. And as you can see, there's that crest over there, and it's. I know a lot about this tale of this place, and I'm not too sure we're in a good room. this room. I don't know if we're here in prison or if we're here locked away. But here, I'm fairly, I just wanted to meet some new people. I have some honey bread, and I just wanted to see if you possibly would like it. For
Actually, as you kind of go towards like where where it normally is, your pack's gone. It's not there.
Oh my gosh!
And then as like Odeon and Inga, you kind of realize, yeah, your stuff is gone too. Your weapons are like you're definitely wearing not the same clothes. Like everything like that you have is gone, except your wheelchairs for the two of you.
I guess we don't have any honey bread to chew on. But yeah, if I had some, I would have offered you, of course. But have you noticed anybody else in this room that looks familiar?
No. The only one I know is this wonderful mage hand user right here. I'm sorry, what's your name?
Me?
Yeah, you.
Like my eyes dart from like side to side.
My mage hand just started snapping his fingers. Oh, company. Sorry, he gets excited. Sorry.
It's Inga.
Inga? Pleasure to meet you. I'm Odeon Sonam. I'm sure you've heard of me. One of the finest boards in the lane.
Can I roll to see if I actually have heard of him?
Yeah, why not? Yeah, roll a history check. Say, you know what? Because like
it's a
DC
12.
15. What?
It's a 12.
12? Yeah, no, yeah, hadn't heard of him before.
My mage hand goes behind her. He just slowly raises a middle finger. I just give him an evil look.
Can't say I've heard of it. Nice hand though, and I follow the direction of the hand to like whip round behind me and like see that it's swearing at me, and I just look at it like.
I'm sorry, he has a mind of his own. It's not me, I promise. It's him. I promise.
I'd like to just turn my wheelchair so I can no longer see him. Like I am turning my back on you. Like, see ya.
Honestly, I would do the same with you.
Absolutely not.
He's
And then-
a problem.
To Yazir, I'm just gonna say, so what about you? You know this place?
I've seen this place. Well, at least I've heard tales of it, and through my extensive research, I'm not too sure if we're in a place that is friendly. Do you recognize...
I turn around and look at, when you say I'm not too sure if it's friendly, I turn around and look at Odie and I go, you can say that again.
Listen, it's the hand. It's not me.
I will say as well, Yazir, with the history check of 18, you know that this is this place does not have a good reputation. It is where the worst of the worst go. As if you're incarcerated as a prisoner here, yeah, this is kind of like max security prison kind of deal. And you also know a little bit about it that it's an extremely large tower that's on top of a mountain side, and the only you could be able to trek across the frozen tundra to be able to get to it, which is a multi-mile journey, or you can get to it by boat. That has a dock, but there's only one single elevator that goes up 160 feet towards the top to the entrance of the tower. So you know that this is remote as remote can be.
Well, I guess we're stuck here together. I guess we should see if there's anybody else here that we can possibly talk to. I know there's somebody over here that's just laying on the ground, and we should go and see if they're okay.
I'm as you're talking, I'm checking my wheelchair. I'm listening to you, but I'm checking everything to make sure to see if there's any signs of any tampering, or making sure that everything is there, making sure that everything is functional. I just want to make sure that whoever did this did not booby trap my wheelchair, did not dismantle it and put it back together. No.
Yeah, totally. Why don't you make an investigation check for me?
Oh, baby, it's a 25.
20, not 20. Okay. Yeah. No, you notice that there's like maybe like a gash or two into the metal, and there's like a little bit of like a dent. But you kind of feel for the beacon, and it's like you kind of feel like the chair kind of like move a little bit. So you know that's totally fine. But yeah, the chair is kind of like not worse for wear, but you know it's a little tiny damaged than when you last left it. So yeah, but no tampering as far as like anything like any like booby traps or anything like that at all.
I like brush it down like as Yazira is talking to me, and then I look around. Where?
Yeah, and by the way, you also have a mending spell that you can basically like. You've seen this before. Like this is not the first time that you know someone has unfortunately. Actually, no, yeah. I was going to try to find a more politically correct way to say this, but no, it's manhandling. It's 100% manhandling. Yeah. They manhandled your chair before.
We went through airline. You know, we put it in the cabin, and they did what they could.
Like you've gone through a few like you know carriages in the past where you basically your chair is just sort of like just thrown into the back, and it's seen a little bit of a wear and tear here and there. So that's why you learned this spell, the mending spell. And I think you just instinctually just start to kind of, you know, mend the things that you can be able to see, like, you know, just spoke kind of like out a little bit on one of the wheels. And you just kind of mend that all back together as you're looking and seeing all the damage that's currently there.
I think like as I'm doing that, I register what Yazira said, that there's somebody who needs help. Who? Where?
Yeah, you see in the corner, like you kind of where Yazir kind of points, and there's like a little, you know, like basically just a woman kind of like you know curled up in a ball, just kind of like just in the side of the room, just leaning up against the wall.
I looked to Yazir. Are they alive?
We should go and see. They look a little incapacitated at this moment, but maybe we can, you know, give them some kind of. You know, maybe some encouragement to. I don't know if they're I actually don't know what they're doing.
It's fine. You're still figuring this out. This is like as you kind of like make your way over towards her. Sam, what are you doing?
I would say that she is not paying attention to anything. Laying on the ground, probably with her butt against the cold stone of the wall, her feet up and like crossed, and she's also got her hands in the air with some tendrils of her hair just twisting them. Have I been here before?
We'll say as your memory kind of comes to like you've not been here before.
All right. And she's just humming to herself as if this is just another day in the park. No sense of urgency. She doesn't care to look around. She's just sitting there, really twiddling with her hair.
Okay. What? I'll ask you because you're kind of like in your own little world. Do you notice basically like a halfling and two people in wheelchairs kind of like moving towards the room?
Roll for that.
Yeah, totally. You can do it.
Because since she's a bit exhausted. She probably no, I do not. That's a 2.
Okay, yeah. No, she's
in her own world. The only person in this room is her.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so like Zero and Inga, do you make your way towards the woman that's just on the floor?
Yeah.
Yes.
Straight.
I ask Odian if you know, did you want to, you know, come with us? I mean, I know there's a little bit of like I don't know what kind of maybe an argument that you two had, but
I'm not waiting for them. I'm gone.
Okay, Inga, you kind of you make your way to her first, and she's kind of like just chilling on the ground. Morika, what do you do? Do you notice? Like, are you kind of, you know, just are you like, yeah? What's going through Morika's mind right now?
So I hear as someone is approaching, and I roll over and I look up, and I just say, "Do you have anything to eat? I'm so hungry."
I don't. None of my things are here. I can. Can you sit? Can you sit up? Can you sit up? Or are you okay laying down?
I kind of prefer down here. It's quite nice. Thank you. But I guess for you, I roll up a little and then I sit crisscross style and I look into your eyes and say, I'll sit up for you.
I'm gonna get out of my wheelchair. I'm just gonna pull myself down and go onto the floor and like kneel on my left knee, and just put my hand on their shoulder. Are you okay?
I've seen better days, not gonna lie. Where are we right now? Like, I recognize that crest, but is it true? Are we captured? What is this?
I don't know. I just know that this is not a good place for us to be. Are you unwell? Are you I could try and help. I know a spell. I could
You know, any like mending spells, anything at all to help me out. I'm just so exhausted.
Immediately I'd like to cast mending. But is
well,
that object?
I think it's specifically an object, not a. Yeah. Unfortunately, you don't have any spell that could definitely help. Unfortunately, normally your instinct is to be able to grab your you have several, usually always several bottles of potions of healing nearby, just to kind of help you out, or just to give to anybody. But yeah, you realize that it's not available to you. They're not there where they usually are on your chair.
You can slowly see me get more and more flustered. Like, I don't have an answer, and that's very not okay for me. I just, usually I would have some potions, and usually I would be able to fix this situation. I mean, not that you need fixing. You don't need fixing. I'm just saying that usually I would have something that I might be able to help with, but it's just that they took all the bags, and
Morica, in your head, you kind of hear Kibler talk to you.
Hey, boss. She seems kind of funny.
Burst out
And you can talk to Kibler in your mind. You don't have to talk out loud. Yeah. You can respond back in your mind.
I burst out laughing because I can't take it seriously anymore. Knowing where I am now, what the situation is, and the fatigue and exhaustion, my brain is just, it feels like a giant mashed potato at this moment. And I say, I just need time. Just give me a moment to rest. Don't worry about it. You're totally fine.
Funny enough, actually, on the table, like just above you, there actually is an empty plate, or a plate that has some potatoes and some carrots on it.
Can my mage hand reach that and then give it to her? Like
Yeah,
instinctively? Okay.
Yeah, you can do that.
Sweet. Can I eat it then?
Yeah.
Wait, but before I eat it, can I detect for anything up with this dish?
Yeah. Why don't you roll a medicine check?
All right, let's see. A 14.
14? Yeah. You know, it's just a regular potato.
Oh, sweet.
You're eating it kind of raw, but it's well, okay. I would say it's a little cooked. It's a little warm to the touch.
All right, I take a bite out of it. I cringe at first, but with the fatigue, I just can't help. I continue eating, and I look up and I smile.
Cool. Yeah. What's that? Is anyone else doing anything?
As I see, that Marika's, seems to be fairly okay, I still look around the room and, find that there's you're a Rot. Are you're half orc?
Half elf.
Half elf, yeah.
Excuse me. I see them, and I'd see that they're just kind of in their own world. So I just kind of approach them and introduce myself, and see if they know where they're at, and very slow, hopefully understanding that they know, what I am saying, because I don't know if they possibly recognize my speech.
Is your speech different?
No,
or
I just normal speech. I just for my character,
Okay, that's fair.
I'm just for some reason, I have I don't really talk to people. I'm always in my books, so I don't have the best social skills. So I sometimes, accidentally, inadvertently talk a little bit slower than I should to those who I don't think that they're intelligent. So that's just me.
So Sam, you kind of like you see this halfling kind of like walk up towards you, and you kind of like are startled a little bit. But
I'm
you're
on
like,
the floor too.
Yeah,
so
you're on the floor.
approaching, and as she's still messing with her hair, she looks back up at you, so her head is tilting back even further on the floor. Oh, are you okay? Talking very slowly.
Yes. How are you? Are you fine? Do you recognize where we're at?
Oh yeah, I'm fine. I've been at this before. I don't know where we're at actually, because she hasn't even looked. She literally just kind of opened her eyes and was like, "Here we are. We exist." But
if you want to roll either a perception or an investigation check, if you're kind of curious to see if you could see the same crest, or you're just kind of still in your room.
I got a 13.
13. Yeah, you can see the same crest above.
Yeah.
But
I guess looking past you then even further, really straining her neck. She then just, okay, hang on, actually. And she sweeps her feet from the wall to the floor with a thud before moving around to get on her knees and to situate herself to be at more eye level with you. I'll give her a small pint.
I've always... Yes, I'm a halfling. I don't know if you've ever seen anybody or laid eyes
I've
upon
seen a lot
anybody
of
of halflings.
Halflings before.
But yes, my name is Yazir. It is
Yazir?
No, Yazir.
Yazir. Sorry, it's an accent thing.
Close
hi,
enough.
I'm
Close
Rot.
enough. Rot, nice to meet you. That's
And she
a pleasure
extends
to
her
meet you.
hand, being like noticing your arm and then making sure to adjust which hand it is.
Yes, and I
Coincide with
extend
you.
my left hand. I
And
extend.
she shakes it vigorously. It is nice to meet you.
Oh, wow, you're a strong one. I see.
Yes.
Um,
Thank you for noticing. That's such a compliment. I appreciate that. Wow. Come to a great place for this. Honestly, these clothes are a little better than what I was in anyway. Mine were much more patchwork, but acceptable.
Yes. Do you remember where where you were last?
Well, I was fighting. Well, no, actually, I was done. I won. I won the fight.
Oh,
So
okay.
that was a good time. Then I was trying to put my shoe back on. Where is my shoe? She's just looking around now to see if she can find them.
Yeah, you're not wearing you're wearing shoes. You're wearing
not her
but
boots, though.
not her boots. You spend a lot of money on those boots too.
Well, I've met these other people here. Do you want to go over with me and talk to them, and we could kind of maybe work something together? I don't know. This is place here. I just don't know if you don't know. This is very bad. We're in a very bad situation here.
Oh yeah, it's horrible.
Yeah,
Just smiling. It's just very she's very aware that it is not a good situation, but it just is so nonchalant to her.
Yeah, Rot, you know that that some of you've heard of this place. You've heard of Rebels, like some of your comrades have talked about a few this place specifically, and of the people that have been in it, and this is it's not. I want to say Revel's End is kind of like the Alcatraz of the world, like the one famous prison, but it's pretty well known throughout the land, especially as from your background, you've heard of this place before.
As she's agreeing to meet up with other people to start discussing what is this place, why are we here, and where to go, she will be dusting off herself very poorly. Like, she actually doesn't care. It's more so as I promise I'm a decent person, maybe. I've only heard actually from people to not eat the potatoes here. They're like the texture of an apple, she says, then looking around. Who are we talking to?
Oh, these people over here.
In the corner.
Over on the
other corner.
Yes, in the other corner.
The other corner,
over here. Yeah, so the other individuals, not the ones that are sitting.
And you see her do an about face on her heel to the next corner.
So I guess
and
we
approaches.
approaching
slowly,
and walking them, and I introduce. This is Rot.
Best friends. We've known each other for 3 minutes.
Yes, they've known. They're very, I guess, familiar with a place like this? Would you care to explain?
I haven't been to this one. Oh, I'm a soldier in my past. Retired now.
What
I
army
guess if
did
Great
you
anybody
fight
want to
reaction,
introduce
everybody. You make me feel
themselves, yes.
excellent. Oh my goodness.
for? What army did you fight for?
I don't remember, actually. I've had a lot of conks to the head. Here, I'll show you this one. And she, like, lifts up her hair, and there's a scar with a patch of hair just kind of missing from where she probably took a very big blow to the head at some point. This one, I assume, was probably the worst one. Or it could have not have been. It might have been actually very simple. Maybe it was from a brawl that I did. Huh. But yeah, many.
All right.
I'm Rot. She extends her hand out to whoever wants to grab it.
My mage hand just grabs her hand, starts shaking it furiously.
What does this feel like?
Yeah, what does it feel like, Grant? What like? You've done this before, that you shake hands with your mage hand. What does it feel like?
Warm? Is it
It's
airy?
velvet.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Is it like the good velvet? Like the good brush side of a velvet, or is it like the crushed side that's like, ugh?
It's the brush side.
Nice.
It's also very, like, firm, like there's weight to it.
Ooh,
It's a
okay.
very soft touch.
Yeah, you know how people will go up and shake each other's hands, and it's like a very stern handshake,
Mhm.
not much up and down. I assume it's a little bit like that. And she
Mhm.
grips against the strength of your mage hand, and it's just like, ooh, you have very soft hands. You moisturize a lot before pulling away.
My hand just gives her a thumbs up and perches on my shoulder like a bird.
She gives a thumbs up back with a big smile.
I tried to get into shake Rot's hand, and
Slapped away.
Yeah, and Odian like beat me to it. So I've just put my hand, like my hand, not my mage hand, my hand that's touched me, it back in my lap, and I'm just like looking at Odian like.
I assume that
Whatever
I
that
saw
noise.
this. It was like in the moment of interaction. And
Yep.
so without putting her hand down, she then just kind of turns to you. Your turn. It's disrespectful to shake one another's hands, right?
Inga.
Rot.
Um,
What does your hand feel like?
mine is my. You've got my orc, my half orc hand, not my
Ah.
mage hand. I'm strong. Like my hand is real strong. Like real. I imagine that maybe it's similar to shaking hands with somebody who spends like a hell of a lot of time at the gym. Like it's muscly. It's like strong, but her
That's a
touch
good
is
grip.
very gentle. Her touch is very gentle. So it's this like real juxtaposition between having like a real strong. Like I could crush your hand if I wanted to, but I really don't want to. Like it's a real gentle handshake.
Rot in her head is thinking the same thing. Probably would not succeed. She's like, yeah, I could totally take this hand.
Love it.
What's your
love it.
hand like?
So hers are really nice and clammy. They're a little sweaty. They're gross. Like she hasn't washed in a while. She's got bruises and dried blood all over them, probably encrusted with some dirt and sand because she had not yet had an opportunity to take care of herself after this fight. So
Yep.
they're
Yep, you can
gross.
definitely
Thank you
see
for
like
touching
you
them.
got like some cuts
You're
and
brave.
some bruises on your knuckles.
Oh,
And,
sorry. We can wash that off with some water, and she's probably leaving a little residue of dirt and dry blood.
Yeah,
I
there's
will
a
do
biohazard.
there's
It's
there's
fine.
a-
It's fine. It's okay. It's fine. It's really it's nothing. It's fine. And then I want to like wait a socially acceptable amount of time before wiping my hand on my left leg. But like I'd like to do it really subtly. I'd like Rot not to see me. Like I don't want to hurt
There's-
Rot's feeling.
By the way, there's a wooden cup of water sitting on the table near you.
Oh,
I would say she wouldn't even see, because then she'd probably then turn to the elf that is sitting there with her hand out again.
Okay. Yeah. So as you guys are kind of like talking and you're kind of figuring out what's going on, all of a sudden because here's the thing, like there's people there's quite a bit of people in this room that are just kind of like going about, like some are talking, some are, so it's not like, but no one has ever hasn't paid you any attention yet. You just see like there's a routine of there's people lining up at the bar. They have empty trays. They get food from the dwarf woman and behind the counter, and it's the same kind of food. It's potatoes, it's carrots, it's mushrooms, and they go and they grab it and they go sit down at whatever empty table or empty chair that's available. They start eating and they don't care. Some people are chatting and conversing. It's not a very like a happy attitude at the moment, but it's y'all are kind of like. You stand out a little bit, but you kind of like no one's paying attention to you in the room. But as you guys are all talking, there's like a guard, a pretty tall guard, like about 6'4". He's kind of built. He's like he's a tall human, very muscular. Think like a wrestler kind of like a body, but he's got he's padded armor, and he's got similar kind of garbs to. There was also two guards kind of standing on each side of the door on the inside of the room, and they're wearing the same kind of garb. But you can kind of tell the one that guard is like it's a little the material's a little tight on him. It's not really doesn't really fit super well, but it's the same kind of like uniform as it were. And he comes in and he goes. Mail call, prisoners 296, 297, 298, 299, 300. Come and get your mail or it'll keep my friends company tonight.
Oh, I'm female, thank you.
Oh, that's one of my numbers. I guess
I like.
And you recognize that the numbers he calls out are the same, and you kind of look around. Each of you, you see each of those numbers on each one of you. That he's just kind of standing there. He's got like a little sack with some mail, in his hand.
My mage hand, sorry.
I was just gonna say, I immediately move myself. I've got back into my wheelchair at this point, and I immediately move myself so there is a line of sight between wherever Odeon is. And the mail, I know what's happening. I'm getting out of the way.
My mage hand reaches out to the guard.
Uh-huh.
And it's beckoning him to give it mail.
Yep, and he just sits at it, looks at you, and sees where the hand's coming from, and just kind of puts it into your thing. Same with
also, Can I get everyone's mail? It just keeps beckoning. Do you keep giving it mail?
Is it how large is this piece of mail? Is it just
you recognize actually that it's a pretty the letters are exactly the same. It's a just a letter size envelope, and it has a red seal on it. That's all you can see at the moment from where you're sitting.
Because I wanted to get everyone's letter and then pass it out to everyone.
Yeah, the guard just kind of he look at your hand and kind of see your mage hand kind of doing one of these, and he looks over at you disgusted and realizes that he kind of sees and looks at all your numbers and he goes,
see to fight each other, eh? Here you go, short stuff.
And he just plops all and the rest onto your mage hand and just and he then calls out,
Prisoner 108. Prisoner 115, mail call, mail,
and then he kind of does that to the and other people with the same numbers on their cloak kind of comes up and kind of quietly just grabs their mail. But yeah, so Inga, you got your letter in your hand, but you got Odeon, you got pretty much everyone's letters.
Yeah. So
what do you do?
My hand is just I'm slowly turning my chair to look at everyone's numbers. And my hand is just giving each letter to the corresponding number.
Okay. And by this point, now you recognize, you all got the same letter, and the seal, that the red, sort of wax seal that's on it, the symbol that's on it is the same dragon head symbol that you recognized from the man with the red cloak. Does anyone open up the letter?
Immediately.
I look around, to see who's.
Okay.
I'm too cautious. I'm looking around to see if somebody else is opening theirs and seeing what they've got first.
I would dig into it.
Okay.
I just rip it open.
So as you all open up the letter, it's on fine parchment. It very fancy ink calligraphy. The letter reads like this. Undesirables, I apologize for the inconvenience you have found yourselves in. You will have just realized you are not where you last thought you were. To put it rather bluntly, I have placed you as a prisoner in the Tower Keep of Revel's End. A place where you should belong anyways, but I digress. I am a well-to-do man of the people, but I have my limits. The warden of Revel's End does not take too kindly to me and is holding something valuable of mine that one of my associates carelessly had lost within its care. Don't worry, that ne'er-do-well has been taken care of, but the item that was taken in the warden's private vault, it is an ornate small box with a dragon's head symbol on its front. I think you might recognize it. You do not need to know what is inside the box, nor should you look at what is inside the box either. It is none of your concern. Retrieve said item, then afterwards you can also escape at your leisure. My trusted associate, whom I think you are acquainted with, will be waiting for you 2 miles south of Revel's End. Then your freedom is assured. If you do need help, as I'm sure you will, given your, and in quotes, condition, a prisoner under my employ has the key to the vault. The prisoner number is 13. As an added incentive to this endeavor, you all have done deeds in your life that honestly would have placed you in Revel's End at some point anyway. So if you were to do this trivial task, your criminal records would be erased, and what you do with your sad lives afterwards, I do not care. If you fail to do this task or try to escape without proof of item extraction, you will not survive the attempted escape from Revel's End. I will see to that. You have 5 days to meet my associate before the map spell wears off, and your records will be brought to the Absolution Council, where your sentence and stay in the Revel's End will become official. Good luck, Varen Riverbane, Esquire.
Do I know that name?
You definitely know that name.
Oh, I do. So my hand puts there down, and there's a look of shock, but also familiarity. And my hand just pats me on the head over and over and over again.
I still haven't opened mine. I'm watching everybody's reactions to what it is to see if it's safe to open. So I see that happen, and then I cast my eyes over to Ysir, because you said you opened yours straight away, right?
Yes. Do I recognize this name also?
Why don't you roll a history check for me?
Okay. It is a 16.
You've heard of Riverbane. Riverbane is a lord of Waterdeep. That's all you know.
I asked everyone, does anybody else, recognize his name?
I just know that he comes from a good family. That's it.
What name is it?
Riverbane.
Why don't you also roll a history check?
Yeah, I'm gonna roll.
I'm not gonna
you.
say anything right now. I'm just
That's
gonna keep just.
Ooh, that's
Yep, that's fine.
I got a 13.
And I got an 11.
Both you know, you've heard the name before, but you can't place it.
Odeon, do you know?
I mean, I'm sure I've played for that family before and played my many shows, but no, it's not familiar to me now.
Can I roll an insight on Odeon?
Yeah.
Yeah. So for those who want to roll insight on Odeon, totally do so. And then for you, Grant or Odeon, if you want to, you can roll secretly. And you can let me know if you it's up to you. You can roll deception or persuasion. Either up to like you, and you don't have to say which one.
Okay.
Whichever one you
just
want.
Message you.
Yes.
Okay.
Roll and then message me. Yeah.
Don't worry about mine, because I'm exhausted. I got a 6.
I rolled a 21. For
Okay.
Insight.
Perfect. Yeah. Yazir, you know something. Like he knows more than what he's saying.
So Odian, can you really tell me exactly if you know who this person is?
We've just met. Might
How
only
long
have a few
ago?
meals.
Mm.
Not him, you and me. We've
Oh, okay.
just met. Why don't we have a few meals, get to know each other, figure out what we're doing in this awful establishment.
Okay.
You can understand my apprehension.
Yeah, I can understand that. What can I do to make you to at least build some trust onto this? Because it seems like we all received the same letters. Did everybody open their letters?
I don't answer you.
You
I
know
don't
that
answer
everyone
you,
except for Inga.
but it's in my lap. The letter's
Yeah.
unopened in my lap.
Inga, can you open up your letter to see if it's the same one?
I look around to see kind of, am I gonna get away with not opening this letter? And then I realize everybody's looking at me, so I reluctantly and slowly break the seal and open this letter.
I would say
And,
Rod's
like-
uncomfortably leaning in.
And as like you all see, my eyes go back and forth as I read this, and I'm just silent, and you see me go like so pale, like my pale green skin goes even more pale, and it looks like I'm sitting down, I'm in my wheelchair, but you see me start to look really unsteady, like I look like I'm about to pass out.
My mage hand just starts patting you on the back to make sure you're okay.
Yeah, is everything all right?
Like my breathing starts to become shaky. Yeah, what did your letter say?
Judging by your reaction, probably the same thing.
Inga, why don't you roll a Constitution saving throw for me? So
19.
19. Okay. So right now, yeah, this is not good. Like you start to kind of try to remember like the last memories you had before waking up here. You're you don't know any of these people. You don't know where you are. Like you were just going to the market. What the hell is going? Like as you're starting to kind of like your mind is starting to kind of to go into that normal, like that spiral of that you've kind of felt before. The good thing is that with the careful practice of like control and breathing, you're able to save yourself from not passing out. So you're not gonna pass out, but you're you're kind of in the midst of however you're feeling at the moment. But for like you're okay at the moment.
Is Rot, are you still leaning in? Are you still like uncomfortably close?
Oh, absolutely. You could probably feel the hot air on her breath. Oh, it's the same thing. It's mine.
I was just about to take your letter as you said that, so I reach out to like take your letter to see if it says the same thing, but then as soon as you say it's the same thing as mine, I
She
stop
hands it
trying
over,
to take
regardless.
it.
As you pull away, she's already dropping it, and so it's falling in your lap. Oh, sorry, I thought you were dropping my letter.
And I hold the two letters up and I look from place to place, and then I turn around and I stare Rot like dead in the eyes, and I go, "What did you do?"
I don't know what I did to this walnut. I didn't fight him. I fought another orc.
But the letter.
Yeah.
What did you do? What did you all do to end up
like I
here?
said, I don't remember a lot of the stuff from my past. She says, kind of
I
backing
will
away
say
now.
I will say that for each one of you, there is something in your past that you thought you got away with. That's all I'll say. and you think you're putting the two together. This might be it.
Rot's very well aware of what hers is.
Yeah.
Can
He's not
I-
gonna admit it? What?
Can I roll to see how believable this is from Rot? Can I roll to see if I can see through this?
Oh, yeah, actually, trying to decide whether this would be like an investigation or an insight check.
I'm gonna roll a persuasion against it.
Okay, yeah. What, persuasion against Inga or persuasion against the letter?
Against Inga determining if I don't know.
Oh, okay. In that case, ooh.
Do I need to roll an investigation as well?
I think, you know what? I think for you, because you're trying to like discern a little bit more about the letter, like whether or not this is true, or like is like what it, like the tone of the letter itself. I think in this case, I'm gonna have you roll an insight check.
Okay. Oh, it's 24.
It's a 24. Okay. Yeah, this letter is exactly as it's read. Like it is. Everything about this is 1,000% true.
Oh, okay. I was trying to figure out if what Rot was telling me was like what they're like, if they genuinely couldn't remember. But I'll take that
you can
about
do
the
that.
letter.
Okay, yeah.
I'll say
I
with
will say
that
you know with
insight,
that
'cause
high of
you
a roll.
outrolled me. Yeah, you still outrolled me because I got a.
Yeah, I would say.
That's
Nineteen.
wild to
So-
outroll you on a 19. I'm so sorry
So you
about
know
that.
she's lying through
No.
her teeth.
I will say with that high of a roll, what was it, a 24 you said?
Yeah, it was a 24.
Then you not only know that the letter is true, but also it's
staring directly at my eyes.
Yeah.
Then you know when somebody is definitely nervous about what they're saying, they start like looking away, or you're able to catch those cues of, okay, there's some doubt there.
Is I feel like it's cheating. Okay. I want to like reach out and just put my hand like on the back of Rot's hand, as like she's trying to comfort you. She doesn't really know how.
I think you kind of start to realize, the both of you. Yeah, you're both trying to like out help each other. Like it's like almost like contested, sort of like, no, I help you. No, I help you. No, I. Are
Yeah,
you okay?
you're putting your
Are
hands
you
on
okay?
stacks of one
Yeah.
another. and
Yes,
just keep taking
exactly,
it off
yeah.
and taking it higher. No, I
You
know.
realize there's like you're kind of like battling each other for how much helpful you both of you are.
I think like regardless of what it does to Rot, like it unintentionally calms me down to like
Okay. Yeah.
be able to like touch somebody else and feel that they're real and be like, okay, I'm in the room, like.
Yeah.
And I kind of take a deep breath, and I say to Rot, really, like, I'd like to try and whisper this to Rot. I'm hoping it works.
Okay.
Do you think they did?
Do I hear that?
I want everyone to roll a perception check, and it like, yeah, except for Rot, because Rot, like she's whispering it right at you.
I got a 15.
A 15, okay.
18.
18. And what'd you roll, Borka? A 22.
That's good.
Yeah, I like you're trying to be subtle, Inga, but yeah, everyone heard you.
Subtlety is really not my strong point.
Yeah,
I think
no,
in my
yeah.
head it was like, do you think they did? But in reality it was like, what do you think they did?
Yeah, yeah.
Rod would look at everybody too. I
Like, you
don't
know when somebody
what
doesn't
they
know their
did.
own strength? Like, you know when you see like a toddler do something, like but they like surprise themselves at how strong they are. It's like same vibe, right? Same vibe as that. Like, what do you think they did? Inside voice. What do you think they did?
We already heard you.
You sort of doubled down on that
We
too.
all heard you.
She's gonna lean back in and be like, "You're very loud. They all heard you."
I'm gonna look around and see what everyone else is doing at this point.
My
I
mage
will-
is just scratching my chin.
I immediately was wanting to see while I did overhear what she asked. Just trying to see like where's this number 13, if there's any other 13 around that we're actually trying to look for.
Make a perception check. Actually, no, this will be an investigation because you're kind of looking at each individual person in the room with try to find, like, look at their numbers.
That is an 11.
You look, you don't see 13 anywhere, as far as you know.
Okay.
But as you're kind of like things are kind of like as you're kind of chatting, you're figuring stuff out. The same guard that kind of came in with he came in, got the mail and left, and he's now back in the room, and he says, "All right, break time's over. Back to yourselves." And everyone in the room gets up, and single file kind of starts making their way towards the door. And as each one kind of approaches the door, basically out of kind of nowhere, these manacles start kind of being put on each of their hands and legs, as they kind of in the sound of the chains kind of envelop the room, as each one is being manacled and being led by a group, are being led by a guard or two out the room. Some are, there's one that kind of looks a little bit haggard, but definitely is a scary, creepy dude. He doesn't go in a group. He gets one guard with him, and kind of he walks that way. But a few, 2 or 3 at a time, sometimes 5 at a time, depending on he kind of noticed that. And as everyone's kind of starting to file out of the room, what do you do?
Whereabouts are the chains going on the leg? Is this round ankles?
You can see that, yeah, they're basically the manacles are being put around their ankles and being chained together.
Are we?
It's up to you. What do you do? Do you get up? Do you go in the line?
I'm staying put.
The guard kind of is anyone else to stay put, or anyone else get in line?
I want to tell everybody that we gotta. I think there's something that links us here, that we can't think about what we've done before, but we need to figure out how to get out of here.
That says we have 5 days. She says, looking back at the letter that is still on Inga's lap.
Yeah. Anyone, the guard kind of looks over to you. You're all kind of very reluctant. I said, prisoners, start lining up. Break time's over. And he starts kind of walking towards you all, he's intimidating. And yeah.
It's time for this to chain me, don't you think?
Are you asking this to the guard?
Yeah.
You're in a wheelchair. We don't need a chain up a wheelchair.
And you realize that they don't have any chains for anyone in a wheelchair.
My hand just gives a thumbs up. Alright, I'm going to go back to my wonderful abode, wherever that is. You four, I think we should all meet up here.
I agree. Can we all at least agree to meet up again?
This is not a suggestion or a figure, letting you graciously leave. You get up and you go in line right now.
Wait, are we getting items?
Can I charm him?
You can certainly try.
Alright, I'm gonna charm him.
Okay.
I just want to say, Rot, when you look down to look at the letter that I'm holding, the paper is shaking. I'm shaking.
She has no idea why you're shaking, but in her brain, you're cold. So she takes off her poncho and lays it on your lap. There you go. I know it's a little chilly in here. I'm used to the cold, honestly. I run hot.
I look at my hands and then I just put them under my legs. So so nobody else can see that I'm shaking, but instead you just see my body start to shake. An attempt was made. It wasn't a very good one, but I'm still
starts rubbing her hands together to make them even warmer.
It's fine. I'm okay. Thank you.
I'll warm you up bit by bit.
Thank you. That's really sweet of you. It's a bit chilly.
It is very cold. They should close a window. Knowing there's open holes with bars.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Great. Are you casting is a charm spell, or are you basically just trying to persuade? Charm person. Okay.
Well, actually, no, I'm gonna persuade him.
Persuade him. Okay. Roll a persuasion check.
11?
He kind of looks at you, and he realizes you're trying to be able to to persuade him, and he's seen this before. He knows exactly what you're doing. And he goes,
Right, I said get in line or I will make sure that you never get out of that wheelchair again.
I can't. I literally can't. My hand goes behind him and gives him the finger. I literally can't.
he immediately kind of like walks in behind you and just like literally lifts up the wheelchair from the back and like forcibly push you like in the line, which is now starting to kind of dwindle, and you're like one of the last few people to leave the room.
So I'm going back in the room. We'll see you all tomorrow. Try not to die.
Is anyone else getting in line, or are you kind of like you're still?
Oh, Rot asked the guard, we got our own rooms. It's better than the barracks. She's just kind of standing straight up.
You're a funny one.
And he just kind of ignores you as he's kind of like, you know, still getting people through the line. Yeah.
Well, shall we go? If we meet tomorrow, that means we then have 4 days.
Yeah. Okay. So.
I can math.
Everyone basically, you realize that the five of you are kind of being grouped together, and there's two guards that essentially have they try to, you know, they manacle all you except for Odion and Inga, because they don't care. It's just like, it's like, what are you gonna do? Like, you're really gonna try to be able to escape or do anything? And so they don't even bother with the manacles at all. They try to be able to they realize one of them kind of goes and tries to be able to push either one of the wheelchairs, but realizes there's no push handles in the back, and just is like whatever, just kind of motions you to move forward. And as you all are kind of like walking or rolling a single file, you kind of go down this long corridor, and it's basically you kind of like you turn right and you kind of walk down this corridor, and you kind of walk a little bit of ways, and then you come to a junction, and you turn left, and you kind of, as you walk down this one hall, you kind of see this sort of open area you're kind of in this sort of kind of like a sort of like a panopticon type like room, and it's very tall, like multi-levels tall, and you see like there are individual cells with barred doors on from multiple levels above, and like that they're of prison cells, and you see in the center this kind of like one this one tower that has a stairwell kind of like leading up on the outside, and you can kind of look at the top and you see that there is a control room at the top that you see like several guards kind of like looking out and keeping patrol over everyone, and there's no like railing to the ground below, but you realize as you kind of make your way to the edge of that hallway, and you kind of look down and you see there's like 3 levels below you, basically with the same sort of cells, and they kind of the guards kind of lead you towards a group of 3 cells, and the first cell he kind of opens up and he motions to Morica and Odion, to get in, both of you. And as you kind of like make your way in, then the next one is Inga and Rot, and the last one is Yazir. And they basically lock up the doors, and you realize so Odion, as you kind of like make your way into the cell, your mage hand disappears. It's gone, and anyone who's who has magic can kind like you start to feel like there's something missing. Like you're kind of that sort of connectedness you have to the arcane world, and being able to like will like things kind of appearing or disappearing or being created in midair. That sort of magical kind of aura around the world around you that no one else can see. You realize that as you enter your cell, that aura is like, it is gone. It's not like it's dark, it's literally just nothing. I would say for Inga and for Yazir, because you're pretty studied, you realize that you are now like the cell is like an anti-magic like cell. There's anti-magic. As you try to be able to like move your chairs for Odeon and Inga, you try to move your chairs forward. You realize that still works, and you like. Thankfully, the chairs that you got, the artificers were very good, and you can realize you can be able to move, but you can't use any other magic at all. And yeah, the guards kind of like, as they lock you up, they kind of just walk away, and yeah, you're kind of like left to your cells. You can kind of like the walls in between the cells are like about like a foot thick, but it's stone. And you can see that there is basically like a 2 beds to the rooms that to each of the cells, and they're kind of attached to the walls. There is a single bucket, and there is like a barred window that looks out towards the outside. And as you look outside, you can kind of see that there's like a winter storm that's been kind of blowing this whole time, and you can kind of see out, and you can see like off in the distance, there like the mountain range of the tower that the Revel's End is sitting on. And yeah, you're all are prisoners officially in Revel's End, and that is where we're going to end this episode of the Escape from Revel's End. And we're going to come back next time, and we're going to see what do the players do? Like, what's gonna happen? What's the letter? And we're gonna have like a full good old-fashioned prison break. Who knows? We'll see. Tune in next time to Dungeons and Disabled. Bye, everybody.